What's going on, everyone? Today, I'm going to show you my crazy After Effects and Photoshop workflow and how I use both of these softwares to export really cool GIFs. Now, I know you can actually create animations within Photoshop, but let's be real, they're actually kind of basic animations. And well, if you know After Effects, then you might have a little bit more complex animations that you can do. So this video is for you if you're doing really cool After Effects animations, but need to turn them into GIFs, but also be a part of another layout, whether it's an email design or web design inside Photoshop. I'm going to be showing you how to do that. All right, y'all. So I'm inside After Effects right now, and my animation is actually ready to go. Let's go ahead and preview it. Okay, so once your animation is ready to go inside After Effects, there's a couple things that I always like to remember when I'm getting ready to export. Make sure that a background image is not visible. So for example, here I threw on this white background just so that I can see the contrast and picture it better. But making sure that on your actual export file that there is no background selected, as you can see here. Another thing that I like to check before I export as a PNG is I like to make sure that my motion blur is turned off. This is only because when you import it into Photoshop and then ultimately export it as a GIF, motion blur will significantly increase the size of your file. So once we are here in this stage, now you want to export, and I'm going to show you how I export it in order to be able to open it up in Photoshop. So with making sure that I'm in the right composition here, I'm going to go to composition and I'm going to go to add to render queue. Now you can do add to render queue, but personally I like to add it to the Adobe media encoder queue. But for the sake of this example, I'm going to go ahead and add to render queue. And here's where we're going to start messing with a couple of the settings. I think first off, we're going to click into the output module settings, and we're going to change the format to PNG Sequence. And under channel, you're going to want to make sure that you do RGB plus alpha. And don't worry too much about how it's going to be looking in Photoshop, because I'm going to be showing you how you can resize it. If you didn't design your animation to the right size, you can still edit inside Photoshop. I'm going to hit OK. So you're going to select the location in which you want your PNG files to go to. And once you've done all of that and you made sure that your settings are set to PNG Sequence, we're going to hit render. So basically what this is going to do is that it's going to create a frame by frame PNG export, meaning if you're doing 30 frames per second and you have a timeline that's 5 seconds long, that's going to create 150 different PNGs that we're going to put together in Photoshop. So how come I do this workflow? I do a lot of designing of emails and also other web elements, web graphics and things of that nature, in which they want animated assets. And I'm a very visual person, and I know that I can create the GIF animation on another Photoshop artboard, or I know that I can export a GIF animation straight from After Effects, but I can't plug in that GIF into Photoshop so that I can preview the email as a whole. This workflow is the way I got around to actually having the animated asset inside my Photoshop file. Okay, so at this point, you just got done exporting your PNG sequence. So now we're going to jump right into Photoshop and go on to the next step. All right, so we are now inside Photoshop, and I have this email design in which I'm going to put my animation up here on the header slice. And so the first thing that we're gonna do here in Photoshop is locate and bring up your animation tab. And in order to find that, we're going to go to window and then timeline. So at this point, we are ready to bring in our PNG sequence. And in order to bring that in, we are going to go to layer, video layers, and then new video layer from file. You're gonna locate your PNG sequence, and all you have to do is select the very first one and then hit open. And that will bring in your animation, and it also creates a timeline sequence over here automatically once you bring your PNG. So from here, what I like to do personally is convert my video layer here into a smart object. Now, if I don't do this conversion to smart object, when I click on the thing to try to scale, it's gonna tell me to convert, or it's gonna give me a warning that it's going to convert into a smart object. When I hit convert, even though it said it's going to convert into smart object, it is not working. Even though I hit convert, and you can see here, there's a smart object applied, but when I go to try to scale it, it just goes away. I think this might be a glitch. So in order to fix that, we're gonna go to the layer and go to convert to smart object. Once you hit convert to smart object, then you try to scale up and down, it will actually let you, as you can see right here. So what I'm gonna do in this case is I'm just going to center the animation here. Make sure it's nice and centered in the space here. Okay, and then when I hit the play button here, it's going to take a little bit to render, but you're going to be able to see that it's actually animating within my layout here. So towards the end here, you can see that it disappears a little bit, and I don't want it to disappear. I just want it to keep on looping over and over again. So I'm actually going to bring this little slider here over to where my animation frame ends, right around here. So now when I play it, it should play in a loop and it should not go away. There you go. What happens next? How do I then turn around once this design is approved and export it? And how do I export the GIF in the same artboard or in the same Photoshop file along with the JPEGs that I'm going to be using for this? I'm going to show you the quick process of how I export these types of designs into slices. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go to my slice tool, which sometimes is grouped with your crop tool. In this case, in my case, it is. And then we're going to start slicing up the different sections. So in this case, I'm doing a header, and then I'm going to do this portion here together, just like that. And then shop our bestsellers is going to be another portion, just like that. And then this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, because I have a space that's going to include 3 tiles in one. So all you do is just kind of figure out where in the tiles you want to create that break. In my case, I'm going to do it like this. There we go. So once you have sliced up your email just like this, the next step here is go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. All right, and then this Save for Web dialog box is gonna open up. So what I do from here is I like to select everything And then I like to give all of this a setting of JPEG high, and you can choose the quality that you want. In this case, I'm just going to 100. But then I'm going to select my animation only here, and this animation has to be exported as a GIF. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to do GIF 128. And you can see the size of that GIF. It's a little bit over 500 kilobytes, which is a little on the large side of things, but I think for the sake of this tutorial is going to be fine. So you can also go in here as well and double click on these slices, and you can name them however you want to name them. You can also add URL and alt, and I'll show you where this translates to. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to hit preview here. And once you hit preview, it's actually going to open up on your default browser, and you're going to be able to look at this email live. So let me bring that down here. My header is animated, and it's also separate from the rest of my email. As you can see here, I'm dragging that image out, as well as this image is separate. This is separate. The shorts are separate. The shoes are separate. The shirt or the sports bra here is separate, and everything else separate with it. Okay. And then the cool part about this is that it's going to give you the HTML code here of all of these slices. So you can actually take this code and plug it in to the email provider, whichever email provider you are using, and start, doing an actual HTML layout within that. So once you've previewed it and you're good, you're happy with it, now we're going to go ahead and hit save. I'm going to go ahead and locate where I want to save it at and create a new folder, and I'm going to call it slices. Hit OK. And then here, I want to make sure that I'm doing all slices. You can also do selected slices. In this case, I'm going to select all slices, and I'm going to hit save. And that is it. Once you go look at your folder here, you're going to see the folder slices, and then you're also going to see the all of the exports. So all of them are JPEGs with the exception of the one that we said was going to be a GIF, which is our header. And that was my workflow between After Effects and Photoshop to create really cool GIF animations. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more of it, please subscribe, as I will be making more content like this on this channel. I really would like to hear from you if you found this helpful in the comments, or if you have any questions. I will be really happy to respond. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.